Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And I know I'm a little bit late to the dance on this one, but it was requested a while ago, and I told my subs that I didn't see it in the theaters. So, I decided to order Aquaman on TV, on demand, and watch it. And here's my review. And, you know, I gotta say, I am pleasantly surprised with this one. I heard a lot of good things, so I wasn't really super surprised at it. But, you know, I like Jason Momoa. You know, ever since I saw this guy back, and I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan, I watched a few episodes, and he was killed off, like, very early in that show, like, on the second season. But I watched Conan the Barbarian, which was a pretty good remake. I have to say, I am not a big fan of remakes, but I remember watching Conan the Barbarian back in 2011 and really liking the way how they handled that movie and brought it into the new age. And I think it was handled with a lot of care. You know, it wasn't one of those remakes where they really just tried to put their own spin on it. Like, that's a good thing. You don't want to be a copycat, but they did it in a way I thought that was very tasteful, more tasteful than a lot of remakes. So I'm already a fan of this guy. He looks like a star, and, you know, choosing him as Aquaman, you know, you really want to get that King Neptune look, and they really ran with it, and you know, and they chose Momoa, and he looks fantastic in this role. And I think they did a pretty good job laying out the story. As a guy who's, like, completely clueless about Aquaman, and Aquaman is, like, probably one of those superheroes that a lot of people make fun of. But this is like the second time where I went into a movie where it was about a superhero that I completely disliked. The first one being Ant-Man. And I think, like, they handled Ant-Man better than a lot of the other, like, bigger heroes. And the same thing goes here with Aquaman. This was better, I think, than even Justice League. I have to go back and watch Justice League because I was greatly entertained by Justice League. A lot of people hated Justice League, but I have to go back and see how it compares. But this was a pretty well-told story. I like how, you know, they start off with the origin, showing him when he's a baby, showing that he's a half-breed, how, you know, he was birthed to two of his parents, to Jango Fett and to Nicole Kidman. Then Nicole Kidman, who is the queen of Atlantis, she has to go back and, you know, she has to go back to the king. And, you know, pretty much grows up without a mother. And they tell the story, like, as they go. They don't, like, slow it down, like, oh, we're going to start off with a big origin story. And not that I'm completely opposed to origin stories, but, you know, sometimes they get bogged down in slow starts, and, you know, they have to find interesting and cute ways to try to fill time, you know, until there's the big reveal. You know, I think probably the greatest example of that, well, I mean, you know, like, there's probably better examples than this that are probably better movies, but, like, Ghost Rider, for example, or something like that, or Fantastic Four, where we're just, like, muddling around for, like, an hour with, like, nothing going on, like, oh, we need to develop these characters, but, like, no one's getting developed. They're just, like, doing mundane things like scientific experiments or going to school or going to a bar and talking to people without it really being entertaining, even if it was a good actor. So they don't waste time doing that shit. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. Momoa's got a great personality. But this one, pretty much, after the first 5 minutes, like, of establishing, like, who his mother and father is, this movie just, like, takes off. And just, like, there's Nicole Kidman's already, like, kicking ass and stuff like that. And, you know, this movie is heavily CGI'd, so a lot of people are probably very surprised already who are longtime subscribers of mine that I, like, greatly enjoyed this much. But I have went on record already and said that, not that I'm completely opposed to CGI, but if CGI is done well enough and done with enough care. Now, like, when Nicole Kidman was fighting there in the beginning, it's not perfect. I think it's probably the best they could have done with having such, like, a close-up fight scene. And, you know, they wanted to do all these different moves that even like a stunt actor wouldn't even be capable of. But it looks very video game-ish. That part, and that probably that one part alone. And like a few times, like when they're in the water, when they're down in Atlantis, it just, sometimes it looks a little bit too video game-ish. And sometimes the faces, like there's like one part where, you know, Willem Dafoe is like, you know, he's like a member or a servant of the royal family or part of the royal guard, and his face just doesn't seem like it's there. Like, you know, it's not his face. It's like the face of a video game. And I kind of tried to like weigh it in my head in a way. I was like, I'm enjoying this movie, but I can't help but feel bothered. Like, I don't know. I know that this would not be possible any other way. Like, types of movies like this, I should appreciate. And I do. That we're even, like, getting this. That we're able to see characters underwater like this. You know, I know it's been done in certain other movies, but just in a few. It's just like, I don't know. There's just certain times where I'm just like, this doesn't look great. And, you know, it kind of, not that it affects my enjoyment, but you kind of feel like that moment of just a little bit, a tiny bit of cringiness where you're just like, oh, wow, this CGI is still rough around the edges. And I think that's the thing. It's like, you want to still have the real actors in there. You don't want to completely make this into a cartoon. You don't want to completely make this into a video game. So it's kind of caught between that weird flux where it's like not quite a video game. It's still real life, but they still want to try to make it as movie-like as possible. And that's where you're just like, well, I don't know how much better that it's going to get than that. But they do a decent job. And where they can film the real actors, and, you know, they do try. And, I mean, pretty much, the story is where it really takes place. So, basically, while, you know, Aquaman is, or Arthur is hanging out, you know, on land, his evil brother is taking over the kingdom. And I don't really understand how this hierarchy works. So if someone could, like, let me know in the comments, because this is not explained. Because the father is still alive. The father is Dolph Lundgren. He is the king, supposedly. And the queen is Nicole Kidman. But there's also another girl who is the queen, and she seeks out Aquaman. And this is pretty much who tags along with him for the adventure. And, you know, I just don't understand. If Nicole Kidman and, you know, and the king are still alive, then I don't understand why, who plays his brother is Patrick Wilson, like, why he's able to take over the throne. So I didn't really understand that. I thought usually it has to be that the king, like the original king, the father, has to die first for the son to take up the mantle. I thought that was the reason. Wasn't that, like, remember in, what was it, in Gladiator, you know, where he kind of, like, suffocates, he hugs the father to death, you know, to be able to take over the throne. So, okay, like, that's a different movie. Maybe it's something different. Maybe it's like when they give birth to the son, they're of a certain age, they automatically become king. I don't know. That part kind of confused me. I thought that they explained the story pretty well. Just that one part kind of flew over my head, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. I didn't get that part, so let me know in the comments down below exactly how the hierarchy works down in Atlantis with Aquaman, because I'm not really too sure, like, why that was. So he's on a quest to get the trident, which is from the old king, which is, like, sunken, like very far below the ocean. They have to travel, like, halfway around the world. And the different locales are really nice. You know, they go to different countries in this, and like, on their quest. And, you know, there's a really, like, good supporting cast. I mean, you know, like, Nicole Kidman, Dolph Lundgren, Patrick Wilson, you know, Willem Dafoe. Like, they got, like, a number of, like, really strong actors here. And Black Manta's in there. And, like, I don't know, I felt like Black Manta was dispatched a little bit too easily, but you know, you see in the credits scene, you know, that he's coming back, that they're repairing him. But that was a pretty good fight scene. And I guess they want to leave, you know, something for they want to probably introduce Black Manta and then have him return in the second one. It'll be more powerful. Maybe he could be the main villain for the second movie, which is undoubtedly going to happen. So, I did like what we did see of Black Manta. It's cool how he got all his weapons, you know, from Atlantis, and, you know, and now he has, like, the plasma and the Atlantean, steel, which was pretty cool. And it was a good fight while it lasted. And, you know, like, also seeing, like, these creatures, like, they explain, you know, like, in the beginning of the movie, that when Atlantis sunk to the bottom of the ocean, that, you know, some of the people, you know, still, like, maintain, like, human-like appearance, but the others turn to savages. Well, you know, Aquaman meets some of those savages, like, that one part where, like, all the fucking creatures are coming onto the boat while they're still looking for the trident. I thought that looked awesome. Then when he goes down below and he finds, like, the sunken kingdom where the king is holding the trident, and he confronts that ancient beast that had been locked away that was guarding the trident, and you see, like, all the, like, fallen, people who have challenged for the trident. And seeing, you know, that monster, like, I know it's, like, CGI, but, like, the scale of it, that was awesome. And I don't know, like, there was some parts in here where it really reminded me, especially when we see Atlantis. I couldn't help myself. I thought of Star Wars Episode 1, I thought of Oda Gunga, and I thought of, you know, like, the big fish and the submarine, and, like, I had to say, like, Star Wars Episode 1 did it first. And that, like, I just have to get a prequels, like, plug in here. And just say, like, this movie would have not even been possible had George Lucas not created Oda Gunga. Like, I know, oh, Aquaman and Samaritan and all that shit came first. And even the Legend of Atlantis. And even that was a Disney movie. People are going to credit that. No. I'm sorry, but George Lucas was the first one to make an underwater city, an underwater civilization, and put it on screen in a believable fashion that actually exists on a film reel, that was actually distributed in theaters. And, like, I feel like they built off of that, and, you know, they made Atlantis look so amazing. And, like, you know, the big creature is definitely like that creature that chases Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in the submarine. Definite inspiration. And the director is surprising, actually. Very surprising that James Wan, and that's why you see Patrick Wilson here, by the way. The horror movie king, the current reigning horror movie king. The man who made the Conjuring films, who made the Insidious films, he's back. And this time he's making a superhero movie. And he did a pretty damn good job. This was a pretty good movie by James Wan that didn't happen to be a horror film. I think that I would definitely be open to see James Wan branch out. I mean, I love the guy as a director. He's definitely got a distinct style, and you can see that here in Aquaman. He's definitely fun. You know, you could see that with the jokes, you know, how Aquaman communicates with the whale, and he says he got it from Pinocchio, and then they go back to the joke, you know, where the queen shows him the book, and she's like, you know, oh, so you got this from a children's book? And he's like, I didn't even know it was a book. He's like, I just saw a movie. I don't know, there's a lot of cute parts. I thought that there were many charming parts, and a great performance from Momoa. And everybody involved, and James Wan just heading the direction was just great. So I think everyone was right. I looked on Rotten Tomatoes with this one. It was a 65%, which, you know, means that there was a lot of critics who gave it a hard time. And I'm just like, you know, come on already. This movie was so much more charming and entertaining than a movie like Civil War or something like that along those lines, and Captain Marvel. Like right now, Captain Marvel's still in theaters. I am not going to see that piece of garbo right there. And, you know, I was happy that I saw this movie because I'm just like looking like, even if you look at the trailer of Aquaman and the trailer of Captain Marvel, you just see two distinct movies. One movie that's a lot of fun, that looks like it has a great leading man, and it does. It has a great director. Or, you know, it's like you can see that movie, or you can go see, you know, you can buy the Blu-ray or call it in or do whatever you got to do to see the movie. Or you can watch Captain Marvel, which has a force-fed message. It has an ulterior motive, and, you know, and politics behind it. So you can see that garbage, you know, or you could see a truly entertaining movie with a good sense of humor and a good story and some great actors and a great director. Which would you pick? I know which one I picked because I'm doing the fucking review. So, there you go, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the review. It's been a long time, actually, since we've done a movie review, I think. You know, I did a movie video, but I haven't done one of these in a while. So, guys, I hope you all enjoyed it. Probably the next movie I'm most likely going to review here on this channel, unless I see anything else that's really worth my time for a video, will probably be Detective Pikachu or Avengers Endgame. So I know that everyone's probably waiting to see what I say about Endgame, because people were blown away that I liked Infinity War. Like, oh, this is the guy who trash talks Civil War, you know, so whatever, guys. So, you know, I'll see you for those reviews and for other videos. So please subscribe to me here on this channel. Leave a comment down below. Hit a thumbs up. And click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.